Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Quick Reviews, the only show on the internet where at least 50% of its title is meaningless. Mostly for the word quick because, as you know, my reviews aren't very quick. So I'm gonna review two books this week. I actually got four books from from last week. Tomorrow is Wednesday, New Comic Book Day, which I probably will put this up either tonight after I finish this or tomorrow morning. I'm not sure yet. So I only got four books this week and two back issues. Those I already showed in my last video. So I'll just quickly show what I got before we got to the reviews. So first off, Superman Unchained #7. Finally, this book shows up. Two big fights and one great cliffhanger. And Green Lantern #33. I'm still buying this book. I'm still liking this book for the most part. Sometimes I do feel I should have dropped this book, years ago because since Jeff Johns took over it or started it, when he got right into Sinister Core War, it's been one endless event after another, one large story after another, crossover, 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 with a future just serving as a stepping stone to the next one. And yeah, I mean, we went from Sinister Core War to Blackest Night to, you know, an endless number of really huge, huge stories. And like I said, the tradition seems to follow, especially now that Hal Jordan is the leader of the Green Lantern Corps. This book somehow feels like it's an extension of the Green Lantern Corps book instead of Green Lantern Corps being an extension of this book. And this book seems to really be losing its own identity. Uh, you know, I really wish they would focus a lot more on Hal and not have you know the core as involved with with it, how at least in his book, and let the Green Lantern Corps book handle that part. But I'm so interested in what they're doing because they really are reshaping the whole Green Lantern universe. So I'll be sticking with it for quite some time. So let's get back down to the main books. In fact, this is a third take of this video, I believe. I just got interrupted in my last take, so I'll try to make this quick because I am running out of light as well. Uh, so before we get to the books, the first book will be Action Comics #33. If you saw my last video, you know how I feel about the Doom story arc, a storyline, crossover event, whatever, as being really inconsistent. It's choppy writing. It's got a lot of good stuff. It's got more bad stuff to it. Like I said, the writing is not consistent. The writers are trying to sort of maintain their own storylines, within the framework of Doomed. But when you're doing a crossover like Doomed, you can't really do that, because I don't know. I mean, it's a rather, you know, like I said, it's choppy. There's not follow through between the books. I mean, there's no follow through. If you have introduced like you did in the Batman Superman book, Zadu, they brought him out of the Phantom Zone, then there's like nothing uh, that follows on that. They go into like another thing, uh, So you can't really do that. It's horrible. It gives the book the story a certain inconsistency. Um, so this one has to flow much more organically. And I know the last two crossovers that they did in the Superman books, and a lot of people didn't like them. But they were organically connected. One event led to another, or one cliffhanger led, to the next issue, and then the cliffhanger of that issue led to the next issue, and it felt much more organic, and it doesn't feel like you're missing something. Unlike Doom, where you're missing something, you're missing parts. Things are so choppy in the writing uh, that I know they want to make it as standalone as possible, but you really can't do that. For at least for this storyline, you want something to stand alone. You can go with uh, the New Krypton saga before the New 52. A 2 year long storyline, 84 issues that counted. I read the whole thing actually recently during my break. And it's so massive, but at the same time they were able to move the plots from that story and still have the writers tell their own stories within this framework, and it worked. And I mean, we're talking 2 years worth of stories and a ton of issues. Some, the main Superman books, Action Superman and Supergirl, with a few one shots here and there and specials, and a few books were added, and it told a cohesive story. Here it doesn't feel that cohesive, like in Action Comics number 33, which is an example of how inconsistent the storyline is. So the story actually starts with Lana working with Steel, who has a ship. They're gonna go to space to try to track down the signal that you know Lana discovered was being sent from Smallville, to space. Okay, so but when did Lana meet up, you know, Steel? Why would Steel? I mean, we don't get that. We don't know why Steel would be working with Lana. We don't know when they met. So you have to sort of jump to conclusions. Not that great for that. Uh, but I mean, I like Lana the way she's being written. She kind of, I mean, this issue actually proved one of my main thoughts on who's behind the whole Doom thing, and that's Brainiac. I really like that. Uh, you know, she sort of finds that Lewis might be connected to the whole thing. So that's great. Not so great that we start at a point where we don't really know what happened before. Um, it's like the whole the Metropolis incident where we don't know, or we haven't even seen what happened. We just hear it, so it feels like something is missing. Like where did this happen? Same goes for here. But the biggest offender though is Supergirl's appearance in the book, because it's completely random. We get no explanation why she shows up, and she's completely out of character. You know, she turns Superman. She shows up, turns Superman, takes him to where he's supposed to go, be some lunar colony, but another lunar colony that's about to be destroyed. Uh, then she leaves, and you have no idea why she's there. Uh, Supergirl number 32 doesn't give you any explanation. That issue is basically Supergirl heading to Earth after she was dismissed by Gardner, by Guy Gardner. Um, and in fact, this issue actually it sort of happens in between the pages of Supergirl number 32. So she's heading for Earth because she was originally supposed to go to Mogo, but she decided to go back to Earth. So she's heading back to Earth. She takes a left turn in Albuquerque for some reason. Then she's back on course, and then she ends up fighting the World Killer 1. But we don't know why she took the left turn in Albuquerque. She just shows up in this issue, and with no explanation and acting completely out of character. Why did that happen? No explanation except that she's a plot point or a plot element used to you know go and have Superman go to that lunar colony. She's just a plot device. Really, she has there is no logical purpose for her to be there except move Superman from point A to point B. So that's horrible writing because it's not thought out. Just we need something to have Superman go from here to here. So let's bring in Supergirl, who's going through space. That's not great writing. The good thing though about this issue is Greg Pak gets Superman. That's all I can say. I like the whole struggle between Clark and Doomsday. Inside Super and Doom's mind, and it's great work for Superman, great characterization for Superman. But that's the only really great thing about this book. The other stuff is okay, and the whole plan at the end of the issue. But like I said, really inconsistent for everything. Totally you know unexplainable. It's a bizarre story arc. That's all I can say, and I wouldn't put this in like my top 10 favorite Superman stories. It's just a bunch of plot elements that supposedly tell a story. That's the way I see it. The good book, though, at least one of my top books for the week, Green Arrow. This is part two of the Broken storyline. Uh, Unfortunately, Lemire and Sorrentino are leaving the book with a new team coming in October. I'm not too bothered by the change, unlike the whole Wonder Woman thing, which I will not talk about. I think a lot of people have said their piece, both here on YouTube and in the and other and everywhere and you know around the web. But I will be talking about Green Arrow, uh, because Anyway, so yeah, so I'm not too sad about that change. I think the biggest loss though would be in the art. Sorrentino has given this book a really unique look. So what happens in this issue? It's sort of like a parallel. Well, it picks up where it left off last issue. You know, Green Arrow is fighting a few villains. Emiko shows up. She actually helps Green Arrow some. Uh, but he's sort of like he doesn't want his half sister there interfering because she is a little bit naughty. You know, um, and so she wants to be with Oliver because as she sees it, uh, she's been lied to, manipulated for a while now. She doesn't want to stay with her mother, uh, and the only person she actually trusts now is Oliver because he was always straight with her. He never really lied or manipulated her. So now she wants to be her, her trainee, her protege, she wants to train with Green Arrow. Uh, After the battle, he gives in to Naomi, and Fi, from Team Arrow, Team Team Arrow. Uh, while he goes and confronts Richard Dragon, who, as we know, has Deagle as a prisoner. So while Green Arrow is confronting and fighting with, with with Dragon, uh, Tuckman shows up at Team Arrow's HQ, and so now the stories are sort of parallel. Great, great storytelling there. And it ends with both Arrow, no, with it ends with Dragon and Tuckman sort of hurting uh, Dragon apparently shooting uh I think shooting or hurting Deagle while Tuckman is shoots and kills apparently kills five. That's a little, you know if you don't remember um here now. So as we see, in this last page, how Deagle seems to get shot as well as five. You know so really, I mean, that's a really great ending as always. You know, great ending as always by Lemire. He sure knows how to just sort of bring in this twist and great cliffhangers. But we also get in this issue, besides the stuff going on in the now, we go with a flashback from 4 years earlier, where we'll actually learn the what happened, the fallout between Deagle and Oliver, why they fell out, and it actually happened right after Moira Queen died of cancer. So Oliver lost his mother, and he wasn't taking it too well. So he sort of took a very extended break, sort of went back to old habits, to say the least. So we learned why they fell out. So again, great issue. I'm loving this book. I hope the new team can keep up with it, and I know that one of the co-writers, is the one of the producers of the Arrow TV show. Um, so I do trust them. Kreisberg is not new to DC or to comics. He's I think he's done a couple of books in the past. But like I said, I guess the biggest loss will be in the art, you know. But Sorrentino, who has a very creative way of doing the art, the layouts. Maiolo, he's a colorist who's also doing Justice United, uh, who sort of enhances the art and the story, with the way he chooses the coloring. Uh, Adds much more drama to it. Fantastic, fantastic art. I mean, most writers usually, most colorists usually, some of them sort of just color the comic and don't really add much to the whole. They just make the product look pretty, but they don't really add much to the art, uh, to the story. Sorry, to the story. But Mayala does a fantastic job with that. Uh, he really enhances the art and story. So that's gonna be a big loss. So, anyways, those are the books for this week. Uh, that I got. So tomorrow will be, for most people, will be New Comic Book Day. I'm not sure when the comics will be arriving at my shop this week. Um, Hopefully on Thursday. Uh, so yeah, I've been having a pretty busy week. Uh, so I hope they arrive on Thursday, cause Friday might get a little complicated for me. Um, so anyways, I'm grumbling on about other things. So uh, as you can see, it's getting a little bit darker here. So I will end this as I always do. Uh, until next time, keep smiling, and I hope you guys are having a great week.